Prince Harry's presence in London this week has sent a very clear message, and it is one the British press cannot spin away, no matter how hard they try. This is not a man hiding. This is not a man running from scrutiny. This is a man standing tall, walking into court, facing the institutions that have profited from invading his life and his family's privacy for decades. On the fourth day of his legal battle against the publisher of the Daily Mail, Prince Harry returned to the High Court with quiet confidence. Dressed in a dark suit, calm and composed, he acknowledged reporters outside the court, waved, smiled, and when asked how he was feeling, simply said he felt great. That moment alone speaks volumes. Despite the emotional weight of reliving years of trauma inside a courtroom, Harry chose grace over bitterness and dignity over defensiveness. This case is not light work. It forces him to revisit painful memories, not only of his own experiences, but of the damage inflicted on his wife, Meghan Markle. Yet, even under that pressure, he carried himself with strength and clarity. He left the court just before 1 in the afternoon, having once again shown up not just for himself, but for everyone else involved in this case. What happened next is what truly rattled certain corners of the media. Nearly an hour after leaving the High Court, Prince Harry was reportedly seen inside Parliament, specifically in the House of Lords. This was not a publicity stunt. This was not some secretive move. This was solidarity in action. Harry was seen alongside Baroness Doreen Lawrence, one of the most respected and courageous figures in Britain. A woman whose life has been defined by her fight for justice after the murder of her son, Stephen Lawrence. Her presence in this case is not symbolic, it is powerful. And Harry, choosing to stand with her inside Parliament, speaks to the seriousness of what is at stake. This is where the narrative shifts completely. Prince Harry is not isolated. He is not alone. He is one of 7 claimants taking on a powerful media organisation accused of unlawful information gathering. Alongside him are Sir Elton John, Baroness Doreen Lawrence, Liz Hurley, and others who know firsthand what it means to have private lives exploited for profit. ITV's royal editor confirmed what many suspected. Harry went to Parliament after leaving court, where he had earlier been supporting his co-claimant, Liz Hurley. This was not about politics. This was about unity. About backing those who have also been harmed by the same alleged practices, about showing that this fight is bigger than one individual. A spokesperson for the Duke made it clear that Harry would return to court again to support and show solidarity with the other claimants. That matters. He has already given his evidence. He does not need to be there every single day, but he chooses to be. Because this case is not just legal for him, it is personal. During his testimony, Prince Harry gave the court a glimpse into the emotional toll this has taken on him and on Meghan. His words were not rehearsed. They were not dramatic for effect. They were raw, honest, and deeply human. He told the court that the actions of Associated Newspapers Limited had made his wife's life an absolute misery. Those words landed heavily for a reason. Meghan Markle did not grow up in this system. She did not consent to being stalked, harassed, misrepresented, and targeted by a tabloid machine that thrives on dehumanization. Yet she endured it, and Harry watched it happen. When asked how the proceedings made him feel, Harry said it was fundamentally wrong to be put through this again, when all they ever wanted was an apology and accountability. That sentence cuts through years of lies. This was never about money. This was never about revenge. This was about responsibility. He described the experience as horrible. He spoke about how they continue to come after him, how they have continued to attack him and his wife. He appeared emotional, on the verge of tears, and anyone who has followed this story honestly knows why. For Harry, This case is a recurring traumatic experience, a repeat of the past. The same patterns, the same tactics, the same refusal to take responsibility. He told the court that he has never believed his life is open season to be commercialized by these people. And he is absolutely right. No one's life should be treated as a product. No one's pain should be turned into profit. And no one should be told to accept abuse simply because it is convenient for an industry that refuses to reform itself. The articles at the heart of Harry's case span more than a decade, from 2001 to 2013. Years when he was a young man navigating grief, military service and personal growth under an unforgiving spotlight. Years when his private communications, movements and relationships were allegedly treated as fair game. Associated Newspapers Limited has strongly denied any wrongdoing. That is their right. But denial is not the same as truth. And history has shown that denial has often been the first response of media organizations later found to have crossed serious legal and ethical lines. In written submissions, ANL's legal team claimed that all information was sourced legitimately through contacts, social circles, press officers, publicists, freelancers, photographers, and prior reports. That explanation raises as many questions as it answers, especially when stories contained deeply personal details that would not normally be accessible through legitimate means. This is exactly why this case matters. It forces these claims to be examined under oath, in evidence, in a court of law, not spun through headlines or anonymous briefings. What critics refuse to acknowledge is the courage it takes to challenge institutions this powerful. Prince Harry could have stayed silent, he could have moved on quietly, he could have chosen comfort over confrontation. But he did not. Because silence allows abuse to continue. Meghan Markle's suffering is central to this case, whether the tabloids like it or not. Harry's words in court were not abstract. They were specific. They were emotional. They came from watching the woman he loves be relentlessly targeted, often with racial undertones, often with outright cruelty, and often with complete disregard for her well-being. Meghan has been blamed for everything, from Harry's choices to the weather in Britain. Yet time and time again it is clear she is not the cause. She is one of the victims, a woman who entered a centuries-old institution with optimism and goodwill, only to be chewed up by a media culture that thrives on tearing women down. Harry standing up in court and saying enough is an act of love as much as it is an act of justice. He is doing what many wish they had the power to do. He is saying there must be limits, there must be accountability, there must be consequences. The image of Harry walking from the High Court to Parliament in the same day is powerful. It shows a man who understands that this fight is not just personal, but societal. Media accountability affects everyone. If powerful newspapers can allegedly invade the lives of princes, celebrities, and campaigners with impunity, imagine what they can do to ordinary people without resources or platforms. That is why Baroness Doreen Lawrence's involvement is so significant. Her lifelong fight against institutional injustice gives this case a moral weight that cannot be dismissed. Harry aligning himself with her is not accidental, it is intentional. This case is not about privilege, it is about principle. It is about whether the law applies equally to everyone, including media giants. It is about whether trauma can be endlessly recycled for profit without consequence. Despite attempts to frame Harry as bitter or obsessed, his actions tell a different story. He is calm, he is focused, he is consistent. He has been clear about what he wants: an apology, accountability, change. The reason this matters so deeply to supporters of Meghan and Harry is because it exposes a truth many have long known. The Sussexes did not leave because they wanted fame. They left because the environment was unsafe, because the attacks were relentless, because the system refused to protect them. Watching Harry return to court day after day, supporting his fellow claimants, standing firm in the face of denial and ridicule, is a reminder that real strength is not loud. It does not shout. It shows up. As this trial continues, the noise from the tabloids will only grow louder. But so will the evidence. And no amount of spin can erase the reality that Prince Harry is doing something incredibly rare. He is challenging the very forces that once seemed untouchable. This is not about tearing down the press. It is about demanding it behave lawfully and ethically. It is about saying that no one's mental health should be collateral damage in the pursuit of clicks and profit. Prince Harry did not look defeated walking out of court. He looked resolved. He did not look isolated walking into Parliament. He looked supported. And he did not sound vengeful in the witness box. He sounded hurt, determined, and deeply committed to change. That is the story that matters. And that is why this case will be remembered long after the headlines fade.